with the news of Keemstar retiring from Drama Alert, depending on how that and what that's going to look like, guys, essentially what Keemstar is saying to everyone is that there's going to be a replacement for Drama Alert as the show. He essentially wants it to continue moving forward. And so I want to talk about in this first segment of the show about the next Drama Alert host, who that could potentially be, who we would like to see, who you guys would like to see. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below, and we can kind of break this thing down and have a real conversation about it. So that being said, Drama Alert, guys, even though regardless of what you think about it, whether you love it, whether you can't stand it because of the drama and things of that nature, I usually try to stay out of drama. But that being said, Drama Alert has played a pivotal role in news on YouTube, from covering YouTubers to different celebrities and things of that nature have really made it kind of stand out. Now, sure, a lot of it has to do with drama. There are certainly segments of the show that aren't necessarily, drama related, but more so news. And I think that Keemstar has made and plays a huge part in this, this kind of side of the YouTube industry. The drama side, it's something that obviously is massive. He created a huge following, and it really is actually pretty sad that he's going to be leaving the scene. Now, that being said, he very well may not be leaving it completely. Sounds like he's going to have his hands all over Drama Alert, at least for the foreseeable future, even when he gets his replacement. Now, there's been a lot of talk of who that replacement could very well be. I believe, guys, that, there's been a lot of people saying that Leafy is here should be the next host of Drama Alert, which, honestly, that could make a lot of sense. Obviously, Keemstar being a very polarizing figure, I think overall, guys, I've definitely, certain things, I feel that, obviously with anyone out there in the YouTube industry, or really just any industry in general, there's going to be things that you like and things that you don't like about certain individuals, and Keemstar is a very polarizing figure. What better to follow up Keemstar than someone like Leafy is here, who has been very polarizing, to say the least. Very much so in a huge, huge way. So he's definitely a possibility. Now, his channel's been terminated on YouTube, and so I have a feeling that there's a good chance that he would not actually be the next, person to take over Drama Alert as a show. However, I think there's a lot of up-and-coming creators, guys, that definitely have promise and have some possibilities and, potential opportunity to maybe be the next host of Drama Alert. I think what's going to happen, though, guys, is that Keemstar is actually going to start bringing on other, other commentators onto his channel to kind of show off what they've got. They do a episode of the show, and if a lot of, the reception is really good around that individual, maybe he'll bring them on a second time and really start seeing what the fan base thinks of that individual who's of course running the show. And so I think that is something that's very interesting. It's going to be a very interesting ordeal who they pick and how that's going to work. I think it's really going to be one of those ordeals where they just throw the different prospects into the fire, essentially, by just putting them onto the show, see how they do on that show, obviously prep them for, the different stories of the day and things of that nature, and then go from there. I think that there's obviously a number of individuals that we could certainly could see. I could totally see a number of people having a possibility of running Drama Alert. The big thing, though, in my mind, is the commitment side of Drama Alert. So, Keemstar even said in his retiring video that, he would always have to, he wasn't able to do a lot of things during the day. He always had to, essentially, he would have to, kind of stay at home. And when news dropped, he would have to make a video immediately on it. And so you're pretty much on call 24/7. And so that was one of the things that, after doing it for so long, his new Drama Alert channel's been there since 2014, but he's had a number of other Drama Alert channels that got terminated on YouTube. And so it's an interesting ordeal, guys, when we kind of look at, who is obviously going to be the best fit for Drama Alert as far as the show goes, but who's going to also be the best fit when it comes to gathering information and getting news and, reporting on it immediately like Keemstar did. I think that's one thing that Keemstar did very brilliantly, was he was always, right there ready to bring out a video when news dropped. And I think that was something that was really, special about Keemstar. And look, regardless of what you think about DramaAlert, I believe that it needs to continue to exist in the YouTube space because look, guys, drama is going to be out there. And really, drama creates storylines. It creates narratives. And it's an interesting ordeal because sometimes those narratives can be positive. Other times it can be negative. Sure, a lot of times people think of drama as a negative ordeal, but sometimes those storylines and those narratives can go in one direction and then they can actually turn and go into a separate direction, whether that's from a positive perspective or negative perspective. And so it's something that I think it needs to exist in the YouTube space. I love it, guys. I really think it needs to obviously stay here on YouTube for the long term. Who knows where it's going in the next decade or two. And so that's something that's really intriguing to me. But nonetheless, guys, I'm excited about, seeing someone else, even though it's a little bit scary when you talk about someone, like Keemstar, who's been very established in this thing, and then you're moving on to somebody else who's going to really be able to deliver in a major way of DramaAlert the way that Keemstar did. I feel that it's going to have to be somebody who brings something totally different, isn't like a copycat to Keemstar. It's someone who has their own personality, but something that a lot of people are really drawn to and get excited about. And so that's what I think it's going to come down to at the end of the day, and I'm excited about it. And I hope Keemstar, kind of keeps his handprint on DramaAlert and continues Mom's Basement with FaZe Banks. I think that's an awesome podcast, guys. One of my favorites out there, and I would love to see him continue that for into the foreseeable future. I think he's got big plans. I really do, and I'm excited to see what Keemstar decides to do. But it'll be interesting to see who takes the helm, who takes the reins of DramaAlert. Who do you guys think it's going to be? Let me know in the comment section down below. And for more content like this, guys, stay here with Zero TV.